Now, there are a lot of changes for these teams that we will talk about as we get ready to tip the ball up here in Oxford. And here we go as Ole Miss in their white jerseys with the cardinal red and navy blue trim. Both these teams won their first game of the year. Ole Miss beat Queens of North Carolina. Oklahoma with a win over Wichita State. And a lot of new faces here. Nevaeh Tot, the only player returning as a starter. You've got the transfers Verhulst and Lexi Keys in the lineup. Skylar Vann now in the starting lineup after winning those two Sixth Player of the Year awards. And the freshman Sahara Williams. And quickly down the other way, Ole Miss is fouled. KK Deans transferred from Florida. Kennedy Todd Williams transferred from UNC. And then you have Davis, Singleton, and Scott back in the lineup. And it's that, Tamika, hits that defense of Ole Miss against the high-scoring offense of Oklahoma. It's going to be an interesting one tonight as the first shots of the game will go up from the free throw line, and Kennedy Todd Williams, the UNC transfer, hits the first point.
Well, and I already like the flow of the game. Both teams trying to play up-tempo. You see the spacing of the floor. Oklahoma got into trouble in their first game against Queen. Turnovers was an issue. First possessions or turnovers, so I know that's something that coach is going to be, it has already been harping on, is take care of the basketball, especially against Ole Miss.
And right down the floor, taking it hard to the basket, the freshman Williams off the mark, but Ole Miss pushing ahead. Davis down to the corner to Scott. Scott defended by Verhulst.
And look at that spacing right now. Ole Miss trying to space it up. KK Dean take the shot, but you've got to box out Ole Miss. You want a chance to win. They are going to be relentless on this.
And that's the way Coach Yo likes it. In her sixth season, took this program from 0-16 in SEC play all the way to the Sweet 16 in just a 4-year period of time. And as I mentioned, this is the first time this team has been preseason ranked since 1995. There's a different level of expectation for the Rebels this year.
Well, a different level of expectation, but you look at the players that have come and graduated. Look at these players now. The transfer portal, I think, definitely adds something to this team, and that's where you start to get better when you look at building your team, finding new people to step in the role.
Three-pointer, Lexi Keys, the transfer from Oklahoma State, and Verhulst, the transfer from Louisville, gets the rebound, and then a foul called will send Nevaeh Tot to the free throw line. The head coach for Oklahoma in her third year, Jenny Baranczyk, played at Iowa, so she is of the Lisa Bluter tree, and she had great success at Drake before coming to Oklahoma. They were co-champions of the Big 12 Conference last year along with Texas. And this Ole Miss team and Oklahoma played last year in Norman, and the Rebels held Oklahoma to their third lowest scoring total of the year, but Oklahoma still won. The only team that held Oklahoma to less points last year was Texas, and that was twice, and they shared the Big 12 regular season title.
Well, and you talk about these players and you talk about the team, even talking to the coaches, while you have some of the staple players that are still out, there's a lot of new faces. I mean, we're watching the game and you're trying to pick out who's who and all of that while you're watching it, but they're in different roles. What happened last year was last year, but one thing that Coach Yo said about this is we don't lose at home. And so there's a lot of, I wouldn't say tension, but there's a lot of expectation from this team.
The foul earlier was called on Skylar Vann, and now another foul called on Oklahoma as Ole Miss has been relentless in the paint. KK Deans, the transfer from Florida, going to go to the free throw line.
Well, you see right there, they are going to go to the board. If you don't get a body on them, you literally have to box out and push back.
The transfers that are going to make a difference. KK Deans at the free throw line. She led Florida in scoring last year. Richardson started as a freshman for Auburn, and Kennedy Todd Williams was the second leading scorer for North Carolina and a starter the last 2 years. And coming into this system, everybody has been talking about how they have just fit in amazingly in their first minutes in. Nice backdoor cut, and that's a score from Skylar Van to knot it up.
And Van does a great job of setting the play up, making sure that the ball was reversed as she made that backdoor cut, and a great finish.
Driving hard into the lane, Marquisha Davis.
It's going to be interesting as you see this game unfold and the bench players start coming in to see. I mean, we heard the coaches talk about the importance of the starters, but I really believe that the games are won by the bench play and the players coming in, fulfilling the role, taking the energy up to another level.
Yeah, when we talked to Coach Yo today after shoot-around, that's exactly what she said. Which bench is going to come through? Both these teams play a lot of players, and they plan to all year. Skylar Van showing off in the lane with a nice turnaround.
Well, I like the confidence. I like the pace of that move. Van just taking her time.
Scott missing, and it's off Ole Miss. Oklahoma basketball. We mentioned the game between these two last year in Norman. Oklahoma won 69-59, but it was a close game throughout until Oklahoma went on a 15-2 run in the last 5.5 minutes. And that's when they pulled away. Another foul called on Singleton. That's her second personal foul, so she will take a seat and be replaced by Carissa Richardson. I mentioned her as one of the transfers who transferred over from Auburn.
Well, you're going to see a nice little rotation from the Ole Miss side, but you got to give credit to Van taking the ball to the basket, trying to get players in foul trouble. And I mean, the last 3 possessions, she's been the one shooting, so you could tell Oklahoma they want the ball in her hands.
Steal by Oklahoma. Nevaeh Todd has a 2-on-1. Lexi Keys scores in transition.
Loose ball turnovers, or live ball turnovers rather. If you're going to turn the ball over, you want the ball to go out of bounds, but Oklahoma did a great job last possession. Ole Miss got saved by the bell a little bit because that could have been yet another transition point.
Jenny Baranczyk, when you ask her how she's going to get this team to form some chemistry here early, they graduated 3 of the best players who've ever played at Oklahoma last year. They get the bad news that Liz Scott, another starter, is out for the season with a shoulder injury. And the way she answered your question was, we're just going to test ourselves. That's the only way you can develop chemistry and see what kind of team you have. We want to play some of the best in the country, and here they are on the road at number 12 Ole Miss.
Well, I think that's how you establish yourself. You know, she said, I'm not really concerned about how they play right now. Of course, I want to win. Who doesn't want to win early? But I think the bigger thing for her is we want these players every game, every opportunity we have to go out. We want to play to win.
Offensive foul called on Lexi Keys, and she will take a seat into the game for Oklahoma. Number 25, Landry Allen, a 6'3" freshman out of Tuttle, Oklahoma. Also on the court is Aubrey Jones as well, down there defending the baseline.
And I know you might think that some of these rotations and some of these substitutions are coming because of foul trouble, but this is how Oklahoma likes to play, and that is a great shot. KK Dean, that is what she did last year at Florida. She is able to shoot the ball. She's able to direct the team. Yeah, I like what Coach Yo said about her confidence. She is very confident when she's on the floor.
Nevaeh Todd strong on that one. Maddie Scott throws it back into the Sooner side of the court, and then Ole Miss picks up a foul.
Kennedy Todd Williams will get called for that foul.
So more substitutions, and there's going to be a lot of that this game. Tamika already talked about it. Kennedy Tucker, the redshirt senior, onto the court for Oklahoma. Both these teams want to play a lot of players. Maria Avish is onto the court, the 5'11" freshman out of Serbia, checking in for the Rebels. And a turnover.
say, come on the court right off the bat. You make an impact play, get a nice steal. This is how you come in and you get those moments, being able to make something happen when you're on the floor.
Rebound for Landry Allen, and then a foul called on Ole Miss.
Number 20, Ayanna Thompson is down on the floor for the Rebels.
Ayanna Thompson, the 6'1" sophomore out of DeSoto, Texas, into the game.
And one of the players that you like to see on the floor, Snetta Collins, number 5, guarding the ball. A 3-point threat, no matter where she is on the court, you always got to be ready.
Verhulst too strong on that attempt, and Ole Miss pushing in traffic. Good defense inside by Allen, and Ole Miss with another opportunity. And then a foul called on the shot. And this is a team in Ole Miss that goes to the free throw line a lot. They went 35 times in their opening game against Queens out of NC.
Liz Scott down low, you know you have a presence in that post, and now she's gone. But one thing that Coach Baranczyk had really talked about is, you know, she's still around, she still comes to practice, you hear her voice. She's kind of like another coach on the sideline, so that is something that you can never discount.
At the free throw line is Snetta Collins. In the first game of the year against Queens of North Carolina, she led the way with 17 points. She was 6 of 10 from the field, had a couple of three-pointers. She just provides such a spark for Ole Miss off the bench. And then an errant pass, steal for Ole Miss, and they're off.
Well, you got to be able to deliver the ball immediately when the player is open, and Ole Miss is really good at using their length. They get in those spaces, and if you don't make those direct passes, they're going to get picked off.
Collins kicks it out to the top of the key. Shot clock winding down, and the miss is rebounded by Peyton Verhulst. Spinning in traffic, tough shot for Raina Scott, the 5'10" sophomore out of Harlem in New York City. And Jenny Baranczyk talks about how she just brings that confidence and swagger from somebody that you would expect coming from New York City.
She said she could be a little flashy at times, but in that possession right there, I love the fact she put her head down. She saw the open lane, didn't try to create or overpass the ball, took it right to the basket.
The foul was called on Ole Miss, Maria Avias, the 5'11" freshman. And Scott misses the first free throw. Jenny Baranczyk said, we want to see how Raina Scott, who was a freshman last year, who didn't get a lot of playing time with all that experience we had in the lineup, how is she going to respond here on the road, 12th ranked team in the country, going against the pressure defense of Ole Miss? And so we'll keep an eye on that throughout the course of the game.
Well, and I love the point that you just made, Brenda. She stayed here. She played behind a few players last year, but you got to understand, even though she didn't get a lot of playing time as far as in the game, you're going against Maddie Williams. You're going against some of the top players. You still have that opportunity to get better. So this year is her time to shine, but last year she had to learn, she had to see and develop into the player that she can be this year.
Well, she picked up the foul here, sending KK Deans to the free throw line. Of course, KK started her career in the Big 12 Conference. She was an all Big 12 honorable mention selection both her sophomore and junior years at West Virginia. So she's very familiar with going against the Sooners. So she did when she played for West Virginia, and then she went to Florida last year, was the leading scorer for the Gators before transferring here to Ole Miss. She puts up the Rebels 12-9. And that ball goes out of bounds on Oklahoma. Kirsten Johnson into game number 5 for the Sooners. Another turnover for the Sooners. They've already got 5 in the game.
You know, 5 turnovers, and probably out of those 5, 3 of them really were forced turnovers. Snetta Collins tried to take it in, not able to finish.
Ole Miss will trigger it inbounds with 20 on the shot clock.
I'm interested
Dean,
to
step
watch.
back three. Oh, off the mark. She's leading the way so far for Ole Miss with 7, but a nice offensive rebound and put back by Thompson.
Ole Miss is going to go to the board every single possession, but this is what they're known for right now, the defensive tenacity that they play with, really forcing Oklahoma to have to slow down a bit, but that was a great backdoor cut.
Another foul on Ole Miss, though, the Oklahoma basketball.
Yeah, look at the patience right there. Ayanna Thompson takes her time, goes over that right shoulder with the finish with the left hand.
You know, and she's another one of those players, Tamika, that as a freshman got limited minutes, but she came through in a big way in the Rebels' win over Stanford in the NCAA tournament when they knocked off the #1 seed. She had 3 3-pointers in that game, and the defense was on full display as Ole Miss just frustrated Stanford in that game. And, I mean, that's what gives the fans of the Rebels so much hope for this year, the way they ended the year.
I would agree with you, the way that they ended, but also for this year, I mean, I have watched both of these coaches, right? And the tenacity that you see from these coaches, watching them on the sideline, they both played, so we've already talked about that, and you can imagine how they are as coaches, how they have been as players. And I think that's the fun part when you're a fan and you're watching the game, whether you're cheering for either one of these teams. You're excited about what these teams and what the coaches are going to instill in their players.
Nice rebound and put back by Carissa Richardson. And Coach Yo said to us, I want to have Carissa Richardson introduce herself to the country tonight. You can see she is a beast on the boards.
You know she's been challenged every single possession.
Oklahoma hasn't scored in the last 4 minutes, but they continue to attack as Sahara Williams, the 5'11" freshman out of Waterloo, Iowa, will go to the free throw line.
All right, very good heads-up play, attack the baseline, takes it right at Thompson, Richardson on the side, but great drive.
Here's some of the new faces for the Sooners. We've talked about Verhulst, who had transferred from Louisville about mid-season last year, so she is now in the lineup. Lexi Keys, who is a tremendous player for Oklahoma State, coming over to the rival Oklahoma. And then the 2 freshmen, Sahara Williams and Landry Allen. So new faces filling in for Oklahoma. A new look Sooner program this year.
Well, you went a little bit younger and you got some players, you still have some staple players to build your program around, and that's how you grow, right? You want to be a great team, you want to have the opportunity to make it to the tournament, and every single year you get better and better. But I think this is a great opportunity on both sides. It's a great opportunity with so many new faces to continue to build your program, but to see these players get the opportunity to get on the floor.
Neither team shooting very well from the floor right now. They're getting most of their points from the free throw line. A lot of fouls called, 13 combined fouls in this game already by 12 different players. And another make that 14 combined fouls. So it's the first week of the season. It's a tough competition, and both teams a little rugged right now.
Well, the first game for Oklahoma going up against Wichita State, they were challenged in that first half. You know, Coach really credited coming out in that third quarter, being able to increase the energy, space the floor, take care of the ball a little bit better. But this is a different team than that. And I think for both teams having to go against each other, we knew it was going to be a good game. It's going to be scrappy. The bench is going to be really important. But I think the most important thing right now is taking care of the ball, continuing to space the floor, and making the right read at the right time.
Verhulst made both free throws on the other end to draw Oklahoma within 1, and then a traveling call on Ole Miss. So another turnover. 5 turnovers now for both teams.
Smetta Collins, in that instance, you got to pull up. You just got to take that shot. They swung the ball around. She's a great three-point shooter. That's what she's on the floor to do. She got to shoot.
Skylar Van, no. Oklahoma hasn't scored a field goal in over 5 minutes. They're 9 of 10 from the free throw line. That's keeping them in the ball game, but having a tough time scoring against this Rebel defense. Van missing another one in the paint. Scott missing that one.
Yeah, back and forth. This is what you want to see, the pace of the game flow. I want to see Oklahoma space the floor a little bit better and try to, instead of trying to get the field goal, take the ball to the basket and get an easy look like Van.
There you go. There you go. She knew what you were saying, Tamika. Wanted to do the right thing. Good job.
Well, we do wear the same number, so I think we have that the intuition right there.
There you go. There you go. 6-0 run for Oklahoma. That was the first field goal in a long time as they take the lead, and Scott Davis answering back to give Ole Miss the lead, and the shot clock is off. And a turnover. Davis using that length.
Ole Miss gonna try to hold last 10 seconds.
And the ball in the hands of KK Dean. She is the floor general, the extension of Coach Yo on the floor, uses the screen. No, but the
opportunity to prepare your team as you get into conference play and get into those games. I think it takes to like the first month to really figure out, okay, who are your top teams? Who are your top teams? Who are those teams that you need to be watching? But it varies from game to game.
Well, and it's so hard because of all the transfers. I mean, these teams are going to look so different. How are the transfers going to gel? There's a transfer right there. Verhulst taking it all the way to the basket. How does the chemistry work as we see so many players changing teams? And it's really hard to predict right now where people should be in the top 25.
Well, it used to be where you knew players were going to be coming back, and so you could watch the team, you could watch them develop in that system. Now it's like, okay, you see so many players transferring, and they're doing well, but you're right about the chemistry. You're right about, picking and choosing the battles and seeing how players gel in those certain instances.
Now, Madam Scott picks up the foul on the floor as they were jostling for the rebound. But here's that Verhulst just changing gears to go around Davis. Nice move to the basket for Verhulst.
Well, started with the hesitation. She looked like she was about to do an on-ball dribble handoff and faked the handoff and went straight up to the basket.
You see those bruises on her arm?
That's from
tonight? Yeah, or practice or what? But she's gotten bruised up a little bit here early in the season.
Now, to say, I know Ole Miss is physical, but I don't know. It's only been one quarter so far.
8-2 run for the Sooners after they had trailed by 5. Nice block inside, and here come the Rebels.
Well, KK Dean gives you another look from that point guard position. I mean, she is a big body point guard. I kind of look at like Chelsea Gray-ish, as far as body type. So you're going to drive against her, but you got to protect that ball because she's coming for it.
Oklahoma keeps Ole Miss off the boards, and they're outrunning. Verhulst kicks it underneath to Culleton as Beatrice Culleton into the game scores that one.
Great ball movement, drive to the basket, bring the help over, find the open player underneath the basket.
Baseline shot short, but an offensive rebound and putback attempt. This time it will be Ibakwe going to the free throw line. Here's another look at that last pass and score.
Yeah, I love it. Verhulst sees the open player, make that drive down, force the help to come over, and you find your open teammate underneath the basket.
Now, those two players grew up in the Kansas City metro area around one another, so know each other from their growing up years. Culleton in her sophomore year at Oklahoma. Ibakwe, the 6'4" senior from Jonesboro, Arkansas, at the line for Ole Miss. Ole Miss has just continued to struggle to score in this game. They are 5 of 23, just 22% from the field.
You know, one of the things we would always talk about when you get into situations like this, when the ball is not dropping, is once again getting to that spacing and trying to figure out ways to get some open look, 2 feet in the paint, whether it's a drive in the paint and a pull up, whether it's a post up in the paint, but finding easier possessions. Oklahoma's doing a good job of speeding them up, which is kind of what we've seen Ole Miss do in the past. Take a deep breath, second game of the season, space the floor, play together, and move the ball.
Well, I mentioned on the other end of the court, Peyton Verhulst picked up her second foul, so that sent her to the bench. Nice drive to the basket by the freshman, Sahara Williams, and Oklahoma with the 5-point lead. It's their largest lead of the game. And a timeout from Coach Yo. Ole Miss has started this second.
Just stepped on the gas. Ole Miss not able to keep the rotation, keep their defensive principles going, and I think that goes with consistency, that goes with having those players, and even as a team, having that core group of players that is like, this is how we're going to keep moving the ball and keep working together.
Snudda Collins out of the timeout, driving to the basket. She's fouled, and this is the one area, Tamika, that Ole Miss has been able to score. They're 7 of 10 from the free throw line, but just 5 of 23 from the field.
They have had years where they've struggled with shooting, and I think you have these new players coming in, you're trying to adjust, you're trying to figure out what are the shots for certain people. You know, KK Deans hit the great three-point shot earlier in the first quarter. Different Madison Scott had a couple of good plays. You know, Snudda Collins, we know, the three-point shooter, hasn't been able to knock one down yet. So you're trying to find your offensive system. You're trying to find your offensive flow. And I think that's what Ole Miss has struggled with, not just today, but over time.
Nice pass inside for Oklahoma to set up Culleton. That's what Jenny Baranczyk talked to us about, that she wanted this team to do, get more paint touches, paint scoring. And Ole Miss has to find an answer. And that one, well, I thought that went off top, but no, off Ole Miss, so it will be Oklahoma basketball.
Oklahoma doing a good job of moving the ball around.
You know, and that's kind of the trademark of Jenny Baranczyk's team. She coached at Drake and had so much success, and they just spread the court. They had positionless basketball, and when she came to coach at Oklahoma, the players at Oklahoma really fit her system well, and so that's what she's trying to do with this team here in her third year, is spread the court, ball movement, all those kind of things. And here you see a drive by Raina Scott deflected, and that's what Ole Miss has to defend, is that good ball movement for Oklahoma. Still tough shooting for Ole Miss as Thompson back irons it.
I think they're trying to get one step closer. Great drive, Oklahoma. Ashley Jones straight to the basket. Oklahoma, you've seen, they are attacking the basket. They're getting those open looks. Good drive right there, Ole Miss. Turns it back, Todd Williams.
And that's how you get a high percentage shot, right? Get to the rim. Skylar Van turns. And a foul on the block out will be on Thompson. Second team foul of the quarter.
Yeah, that'll be Thompson's second foul as well. So Ole Miss just continue to see the woes of the fouls. Three players right now that are sitting with 2 fouls. So you got Todd Williams, number 3, with 2. And 2 players on the bench.
Yeah, Thompson and Singleton. Singleton picked up her second foul early for Ole Miss, but that's where the depth of Ole Miss you think comes into play. They've got a lot of players that can substitute in, but they've got to find a way right now for Oklahoma to not get those high percentage shots.
I think Oklahoma is doing a good job. Look at the spacing that they have. Spreading out the floor, but they're attacking the basket.
Now Johnson missing on that drive, the 6'4" sophomore from Duncanville, Texas. You might know somebody from there, right, Tamika?
Todd Williams able to knock down the three, finds a wide open look.
And out to Aubrey Jones, hits the three. What an answer for Oklahoma. Tamika, what is it do you think that Ole Miss needs to be doing better to get into some kind of flow offensively? There they use the ball screen. Nice shot by Davis.
Well, I mean, Coach Yo talked a lot about Marquisha Davis and what she needed from her, so that I need her to be a dog when she's out there. But, I mean, we're looking at that. Let's go. Ashley Jones.
Aubrey
Jones.
Oh, man. Yeah, she is in some pain. As she crumpled on the other end to the floor as the action was coming down for Oklahoma, and so the officials blew the whistle. As she is tended to on the end of the Oklahoma bench. Ashley Jones, of course, was Aubrey's older sister, the Big 12 Player of the Year last year for Iowa State, and a nice backdoor cut again for Oklahoma. Raina Scott this time the recipient.
Yeah, I love the way Oklahoma is playing. I love how they're spacing the floor, finding those backdoor cuts, and when you have the floor spaced that wide, it's hard for the help defender to get over.
And that's how you have to attack a team like Ole Miss, right? With as much as they pressure the ball and pressure the passing lane, Oklahoma's just opening up the court and finding all these backdoor cuts and drives right now.
That's the positionless basketball you talked about. Take another look.
Let's look back at the Aubrey Jones injury. Oh, it just looked like she got tangled up as they were running back down the court.
Looks like she might have stepped on, you step on the back of somebody's heel. We hope that she's okay. At least she's not grimacing in pain anymore.
Well, she is being tended to on the end of the Oklahoma bench. The foul on this end was on KK Dean, so that's another Rebel with 2 fouls. Oklahoma, Tucker made 1 of 2 free throws, and right back down the other way. Ole Miss with the shot inside by Davis.
We failed to talk about this earlier, but one thing Coach Blanchek said is, I want 5 players in double figures, and Van stepped up, knocked down a big three-point play. You talk about somebody that can space the floor. We saw her start the game dominating down low. Now she's out here shooting threes, the mid-range game, and she's doing a little bit of everything.
Scott can't track that one down, but it's off Oklahoma. But you mentioned it. This is the first three-pointer of the year for Skylar Van. She was 0 for 3 in their game against Wichita State.
But the confidence to step out there to take another three-point shot, regardless of what your percentage was the game before, she's feeling it right now.
And you could see Skylar Van worried about her teammate Aubrey Jones at the end of the bench, went back and checked on her, as she looks like Aubrey Jones just getting her tape job redone on her ankle there.
I think sometimes when you go down that initial pain, you hope that it's nothing serious, and when you walk it off, it's like, okay, I got this.
Right? I know. I mean, I played a long time ago, but that's what I remember too. Like, man, it hurts so bad when you turn that ankle, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I think I'm all right.
You start moving it. I can feel a little bit. I can wiggle my toes. I can move my ankle.
Well, at the free throw line is Snuddock Collins. Well, here's our first SEC Network men's basketball doubleheader of the season. It's Friday night and begins at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, with Georgia hosting Wake Forest at Stegman Coliseum. Then Missouri hosts Penny Hardaway and Memphis at Mizzou Arena. Should be a great night for hoops in SEC men's basketball. Snetta Collins at the free throw line misses the first. Snetta Collins has not hit a shot from the floor yet, and she is such a crucial part of the Ole Miss offense. She's 0 for 3 overall, 0 for 2 from beyond the free throw line, or beyond the three-point line, excuse me. But she is 4 of 6 from the free throw line. And Nevaeh Tot missing that one.
That's a bad shot for Oklahoma. Tot got to move the ball around. That shot can come back to you later on in the shot clock.
Collins still over. Pass ahead is off Oklahoma.
I think Snetta Collins just trying a little bit too hard. Came around that screen, didn't get her feet set.
Coach Yo at her press conference this week, when asked about Snetta Collins coming off the bench, as she gets that one to go, her first field goal, and she'll get an and one opportunity. But Coach Yo said her presence needs to be felt.
Yeah, so when you have a player that can do just that, I mean, she had the three-point shot, she's been able to get to the free throw line, but I really feel like that mid-range game, that jump shot that she just took, that could be another element to her game. It just makes her hard to guard. So players are running out and pressing up to make her shoot. She's not shooting the ball well. Get a couple of feet in. That's a good shot.
She's got 7 points now. A foul call on Ole Miss. Snetta Collins, the lone Mississippi native on the roster. So important to this team. She and Maddie Scott, both 4-year seniors that have played together, and this team is really being built around the two of them. And finally, she gets her first score on the last possession. We'll see if that loosens things up for the Rebels. Scott goes inside to the freshman. Good defense by Richardson. And then a whistle and a foul in the backcourt on Oklahoma. Good crowd on hand here tonight at the SJB Pavilion. They had a day game on Monday where they had over 7,000 school-age kids. So they said this is really opening night for the fans to come in the evening, and they were hoping for a big crowd, and this crowd is just waiting for Ole Miss to hit its stride.
Well, definitely, but you gotta like what you see a little bit, even through the highs and lows. Like you said it earlier, they weren't shooting the ball. They're shooting 30% from the field, 22% from the three. So not shooting the ball exceptionally well, but they fight, they compete, they get on the board, they hustle. Like it's all of the intangibles that go in. This is a fun team to watch if you're a fan, because you know that they're not going to give up. And every single year, it's like, okay, what are we going to see on the sideline from Coach Yo? What are her antics and all the things? But she loves the fans too.
She absolutely does. She has such a social media presence. She's always out in the community, and this team just gravitates to her energy, and this community does as well.
She leads by example. I mean, we listened to her talk earlier. Don't know if you can tell, but she changed her diet. She changed some of the things that she's been doing. She's been trying to make sure that if she's going to ask her players to do more, then she has to do more on her end as well.
Yeah, she looks great, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. I said, I like your hair. You always got to go there. We always have different hairstyles.
A miss point blank for Oklahoma. Williams at the rim, and Ole Miss with a chance to take the lead, and they do with a three-pointer.
Wow, Calista Richardson, your post player, stepped into a three-point shot, knocked it down with confidence.
driving, and then another foul. Too many fouls for Ole Miss, but a run right now, 8-0 run for Ole Miss.
And look at that celebration right there. Carissa Richardson, everybody on the team excited about that.
Big three-pointer for the sophomore from Douglasville, Georgia. She led Auburn in block shots last year as a freshman. She averaged over 7 points and almost 5 rebounds a game. And Coach Yo has a lot of confidence in this young woman to do great things here at Ole Miss. Skylar Van answers back with a couple of free throws to quietly give Oklahoma the lead back. And we're at the 1 minute mark in the second quarter. And now we got some scoring going back and forth.
Well, Snutter stepping into that shot, feeling her confidence, but let's go back. Van now first player to get in double digits, 12 points right now, or 11 points, excuse me.
And a foul called on Oklahoma. Let's look back at that Snetta Collins mid-range jumper.
Yeah, that's what she has added to her game, because we have seen her shoot the three. We've seen her drive it in, sometimes out of control, but that mid-range game for her in particular is going to be huge.
And a whistle. And traveling on Ole Miss. We've had 8 lead changes in this game, 4 ties. We knew we might have a good game in store tonight, Tamika, and we've certainly gotten it.
Oh, yes, we have 8 turnovers for each team, but this is a stat that stands out. Oklahoma had 8 assists right now, so 8 assists out of their 12 made field goals, while Ole Miss only has 1. So a lot of one-on-one ball.
And a lot of free throws. They're 12 of 14 from the free throw line. All right, about a 7-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Tot dribbling into traffic, double team, kicks it out, but she travels. Good defense by Ole Miss to get the stop, and they should get the last shot of the quarter.
Yeah, Tot got to drive in. She sees the help coming. You can't pick up the ball. You got to redirect, either pull the ball back out, reverse the ball, but definitely not a turnover in this moment.
Shot, or the clock is winding down in the half. Davis almost loses it and then misses the shot. Ole Miss.
She got the 5 rebounds, got a couple of offensive rebounds, but I think they got to put her in a position to get her a one-on-one possession where she can go to work, rise above whoever's guarding her, to do a nice little turnaround jump shot.
They go to Verhulst, who was out for the last part of the second quarter with a couple of fouls. Oklahoma missed 6 of their last 9 shots in the second quarter. Conversely, the Rebels made 7 of their last 11. So Ole Miss started figuring it out. And they also had 14 offensive rebounds to only 7 for Oklahoma. So even though they're shooting a lower percentage, they have been able to get second chance shots. And good ball movement sets up the shot from the corner for Todd Williams.
Yes, you saw the patience. That's something that Ole Miss did not have in the first half. Moving the ball, finding the open player, and that's a great shot. Those three-point shots, sometimes if they're taken too early on the shot clock, they're not good shots. You got to move the ball.
Sahara Williams takes her time on that one, hits the shot. We haven't talked about it yet in this game, but there are some new rules this year in women's college basketball, and we'll see if any of them come into play. One of them is you can be penalized for faking a foul. And so we'll see. There's a warning opportunity for teams, but then if a second time someone fakes a foul, they don't want to say flop. They want to say fakes a foul, fakes being fouled against. Then you can get a team technical foul. It's not going to be charged to the individual and their personal foul, but you can get a team technical foul if you have a faking the foul twice in a game. We haven't seen any signals for that yet, but it'll be interesting if that comes into play. There's the first basket of the game for Scott, and she slaps her hands together like, let's go, it's about time.
Well, that was a great screen. They set up a screen away from the ball for her to come to the ball. She got great positioning right underneath the basket where a mini circle is underneath the basket. And I think that was a great place for her to be.
Now, Verhulst got the ball inside, and I saw the defender falling out of it, but I guess it did not rise to the point of faking like you were fouled. So I didn't see the signal from the official, but Oklahoma quickly down the court to Williams, and she has an opportunity for an and one.
Well, Oklahoma doing a great job of getting the ball up. You see the transition buckets, and if you run the floor, they will find you. Williams great in front of Maddie Williams and getting herself to the free throw line for an and one.
This is a good-looking freshman for Oklahoma. 8 points already as she went to high school in Waterloo, Iowa. And Benny...
Felicia over here having a conversation with Sahara Williams. That could have easily been an intentional.
So our officials tonight, Jenna Cross, Felicia Grinter, and Timothy Green. And that's a little preventative officiating. Felicia Grinter is a veteran official, and she goes and talks to the freshmen about, we were checking to see if that rose to the level of intentional foul, and probably told her it was pretty close. So, you have to appreciate that when the officials go and communicate with the players so they know what's going on and what to expect.
Well, that's important, especially with some of these rule changes. You want to make sure that there's a relationship and the communication is there.
KK Deans misses, but there's a foul away from the ball. It looks like it is on Raina Scott for Oklahoma. Raina Scott's in the game. Kirsten Johnson, along with Aubrey Jones, Landry Allen. For Oklahoma, nice jumper by Collins. Collins, we've talked about, such a great three-point shooter, but she's 0 for 3 today from three-point range, but 3 of 7 from the field and 5 of 7 from the free throw line.
Yeah, I like what she's added to her game. And she's playing with confidence, steps out. You see, trying to eye where the defender is, turn around, and she's feeling good right now. Lost her shoe over there.
Well, yeah, Landry Allen had her shoe slip off. Her foot slipped out from under her. And then did she throw I think she threw the ball out of bounds trying to get it under control, so it's Ole Miss basketball. It was a 1-point lead for Ole Miss, 18-17 after one quarter. Oklahoma led by as many as 7 when the Rebels came back and took the lead by 1 at the half, and it's tied 7-7 here in the third quarter. What an evenly matched game between these two.
Well, I think it's going to come down, and this is what the coach is, consistency, right? As you get down, Snedeker Collins going to get called for that foul, but as you get into the flow of the second half, you're starting to see, I feel like this quarter, you can see both teams playing a little bit more comfortable, right? They've kind of gotten into their rhythm. The bench is going to be important. You saw Oklahoma sub all 5 of their players out, put a brand new 5 in. Players are going to have to step up, but this is definitely the game that you want to be in to play in.
Back onto the court is Marquisha Davis, number 2 for Ole Miss. And we did mention Aubrey Jones is back on the floor. She went down with an ankle injury in the first quarter, or first half, so good to see her back in. Oklahoma out to Aubrey Jones, too strong. And Snedeker Collins with the rebound. Collins pushing, and she draws the foul. That aggressive play, she continues to get to the free throw line.
Well, 17 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist in the game on Monday. Attack mentality, that is what you're starting to see. Snedeker Collins was settling for a lot of outside shots, not hitting, still shooting the ball. you saw her second quarter, toward the end of the quarter, started getting okay. Like, let me get into my mid-range game in this drive. So definitely switching up her offensive weapons.
Collins makes the first free throw. You could see Collins and Scott's numbers from that first game against Queens out of North Carolina, leading the way, the two four-year seniors. You mentioned Maddie Scott, though, just made her first basket, her first field goal of the game a few moments ago. And she has not had the kind of scoring night you would expect. Backdoor cut, Williams. Strong move for the freshman.
Well, I like what Oklahoma does. They send one of the guards through the middle of the lane to the opposite side, and as a defender, your responsibility is always to see the ball, but those backdoor cuts are consistent, and Carissa Richardson showing a little bit of versatility, now putting the ball on the floor from the three-point line down, and we've seen her score at different levels.
Ball goes to Ole Miss, then back to Oklahoma, then the block underneath by Todd Williams.
I like this right here. Look at Richardson. Coach Yo said she wants Richardson for people to be able to see her shine on the big stage, and she has stepped up in a couple of different ways today.
Inbound play to Skylar Vann with the baseline jumper to draw Oklahoma within one. Ten on the shot clock. They go inside to Richardson. Spins. No, not this time. As Tamika said, she's really showing her versatility, scoring in a variety of ways, but Oklahoma is called for the foul.
And their host will get called. That'll be her third foul.
So it will send Carissa Richardson to the free throw line. Well, here's Saturday's Week 11 SEC Network college football lineup. At noon Eastern, 11 Central, Vanderbilt squares off against South Carolina. Then Auburn takes on Arkansas. And we cap off the day with number 19 LSU hosting Florida in our SEC Saturday night matchup. All three games are also available on the ESPN app. So Richardson misses her first free throw. We mentioned the transfer from Auburn. She was a starter last year as a freshman at Auburn. She had a career high 16 rebounds in a game against Florida. We had that game on SEC Network. I remember being a part of that and just how strong and powerful she was on the boards. And I know Coach Yo is looking forward to what she can contribute inside for Ole Miss this year.
Well, as she continues to learn the Ole Miss system and continues to play with these players, we heard about KK Deans and just how she continues to be the battery and to push and be that energizer bunny for her teammate. I see the same thing for Carissa. I think that she's going to be KK Dean's going to be that player to challenge Carissa Richardson into becoming a strong low post presence for this team.
Avish picks up the foul for the Rebels. 4:46 remaining in the third quarter. Ole Miss up by 2. Oklahoma with a chance to tie or take the lead with this possession. Good switching defense for Ole Miss. Skylar Vann travels before the shot.
Oh, that would have been a nice move, too, because Skylar Vann, great heads-up player, great heads-up play. She saw the switch happen, tried to post up, but her feet got a little bit too happy.
Avish out top, running the point for Ole Miss. And Williams clears the rebound. Look at the freshman push it out ahead. Skylar Vann quickly up the court, and the Sooners tie it up. Collins way off the mark. And here comes Nevaeh Tot out to Lexi Keys. Keys puts it on the floor in traffic, and she draws the foul.
You see Oklahoma, as things happen throughout the game, you see them get closer and closer, even in between. After every single possession, you kind of see them look at each other. They are driving closer. I look at Ole Miss and the highs and lows and some, especially the last couple of possessions, one and done. Dribble the ball up, take the shot instead of spacing on the floor. The ways that they have scored is when they have played together and moved the ball around.
Collins picks up her third foul, sending Lexi Keys to the free throw line. Keys, the transfer from Oklahoma State, makes both free throws. She has 4 points. And back into the game is Carissa Richardson for Ole Miss. That was just a little bit of a break. I think Coach Yo wants her back on the court.
Well, she's doing some good things out there. I mean, she's a great presence. She's been aggressive. She hasn't forced anything.
Keys strips the ball away from Maddie Scott. We've had 11 lead changes and 6 ties in this game.
I really like watching Oklahoma, the way that they push the ball, make or miss. You see, even on a make, where the point guard is, where Tot normally stands, it's further up the court, so they're always looking at pushing the ball. Got a couple transition buckets off of that.
And Lexi Keys hits the 3 on the inbounds play, stretching the lead out to 5. Scott needs to go to work here. She does. Too strong, but she is fouled by Sahara Williams.
Look at that screen right there. Great job. Keys wide open. I mean, not even an Ole Miss player around. That's what you call an assist right there when the screen is that good.
That three-pointer gave Oklahoma a 7-0 run. But Maddie Scott at the free throw line, able to stop the run. Madison Scott for her second free throw, short. Bounces around into the hands of KK Deans. Collins leading the way for Ole Miss with 13 points. Kennedy Todd Williams has 11. Those are the 2 players in double figures. And Richardson not able to get that one to go. On the other side, Sahara Williams has 11. She and Skylar Van with 15 are the 2 players in double figures for the Sooners.
Look at right here, Ole Miss trying to push the ball. Smutter Cowan, nice little fake turnaround jump shot.
She's got 15 now, 4 of 10 from the field. Still hasn't hit a three-pointer. 0 for 4 from three-point range, but has made 7 free throws. Nevaeh Tot changes gears, and Richardson says, oh no.
Not today. Look at right here, great spacing. Good job by Richardson not to get too close to Tot to be able to stay clear and not get called for that foul.
Timeout on the court.
The set screen. I mean, you got Lexi Keys. She's got 7 points. She's not too far behind. Aubrey Jones with 7. So you have players that are right there in the mix of it. It's just a matter of, continuing to move the ball.
Inbounds play. Van misses that time. Tracks down her own rebound. And then a steal inside as they try to deliver to Culleton. On the break, KK Deans to Smith. But an offensive rebound for Ole Miss. They're going to try to get, they're really going to try to get Scott the basketball inside, you can see.
Well, Maddie Scott right now, I feel like she's been playing fast. And it's going to be a jump ball, but she's been playing fast. She had the flow in the first game. That's something that she's still developing. But the last shot she took, it's like she wasn't set. She was moving so fast. She just got to slow down. She's not feeling like she can go up. Throw the ball back out and let the ball rotate back to her.
Last year, Maddie Scott averaged 11.5 points a game, 8 rebounds, was selected all SEC second team and was on the SEC defensive team as well. She's preseason first team all SEC, but has not been able to get going in this game against Oklahoma. All tied up at 56, and a foul called will send Davis to the free throw line.
I like seeing David drive into the basket. She actually drew 2 players and could have passed it out, but she stayed aggressive, got the foul called. Culleton gets called for that foul. That's her second.
The key returners for Ole Miss this year, we talked about Scott, Davis at the free throw line, both average in double figures last year. Snudda Collins with 9 last year, and then Singleton, who played at the beginning and got a couple of fouls. We haven't seen a lot of her in this game, but Marquisha Davis, such an important scorer, misses that free throw. And those, we talk about the newcomers, and there are some impact newcomers for Ole Miss, but a lot of returners as well, and a nice move to the other side of the basket for Aubrey Jones of Oklahoma.
Aubrey Jones, you could tell she was going to the basket. She now has 9 points. But great heads-up play. Nobody switched on her. She kept going.
Oklahoma takes back the lead with that one as we approach the 1 minute mark remaining in the third quarter, and an offensive foul called on Ole Miss. Here's another rule change this year. Fans may not have heard about that. The restricted arc is no longer the arc you see on the floor. That's only for men's basketball. They have shrunk the restricted arc area to right under the basket. So if you see somebody in that arc drawing a charge, an offensive foul, that is the rule this year, because the arc is now just that area right under the basket.
And try to recondition your mind out of that, right? You're going to see a lot of players pointing down. So it's no longer into effect. What a drive. Raina Scott taking it to the basket.
She sure did. Just finding her way through defenders. Let's watch that again.
1, 2, and somehow she managed to get through the tree to the other side. It's a great finish.
This bench for Oklahoma and this team, they have to be very happy with the way they've played. They're coming in. Ole Miss is ranked 12th in the country. Oklahoma not only graduated 3 great scorers, but also had Liz Scott go out with an injury. They're playing with a lot of new players and trying to find some chemistry here early in the year, and they're playing really well on the road right now.
Yeah, they are. They are playing together. They're playing hard. They're fighting. They knew that this was going to be a big challenge for them, but I love the fight that they're showing.
And they get the steal. Aubrey Jones gets it off to Skylar Van, and then Richardson commits the foul. And we saw another missed shot by Maddie Scott on the other end. Had a good look in the lane, and then Oklahoma was able to create some offense from their defense.
Sometimes you get into those games where you just play a little too fast. That's the frustration coming out. Slow down, calm down. You know, this is still such a close game. Only in the third quarter, but I love Van. Look at how she goes. And Van is going hard to the basket. I love her. Teammate had to push her away. Aubrey Jones taking her to the side.
Now that was a hard foul from Richardson. She made sure that Van wasn't going to score that layup.
Her third personal foul.
Yeah, I think they made a mistake initially and called the foul on Van, but it was on Richardson as Van went to the basket, so they get that corrected. Skylar Van, let's take a look at what she has done tonight. 15 points, 6 of 12 from the field. She made a three-pointer, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, and she makes her third. So Skylar Van, 6th player of the year in the Big 12 Conference each of the last 2 years, the only player in Big 12 history to have that designation. And her numbers off the bench the last couple of years have been really impressive. And now she's in that starting lineup in a different role for Oklahoma.
But
8 seconds remaining. Yeah, excuse me, Tamika. The clock is winding down here in the third quarter. Ole Miss needs to get a shot up, and they're not able to, as Ole Miss had the lead at halftime.
Going to drive her team to continue to get better, and by the time they get to January, they're going to be a lot different than what we even see today.
Yeah, that's for
Tonight.
sure. They are the co-defending champions in the Big 12. They shared that title with Texas last year. Ole Miss finished 4th in the SEC last year, but they have their hands full tonight against Oklahoma as Sahara Williams able to score on that nice drive. She's got 13 now.
Well, Lexi Keys with the steal takes it in. Ole Miss getting a little sloppy.
Yeah, and it's the biggest lead of the game for Oklahoma now, Tamika. The biggest lead had been 7 points for Oklahoma. Ole Miss's biggest lead is 5 points, but Oklahoma is starting to put their foot on the gas here a little bit.
Well, the other night against Wichita State, it took them into the third quarter. Third quarter, they totally shifted after halftime, put the press on. I feel like it's been the end of the fourth quarter for Oklahoma is trying to figure out a way. Oklahoma is just continuing to go.
How about that drive, though, for KK Deans as she goes to the other end. And when you and I talk with Coach Yo about the transfer, KK Deans coming over, Coach Yo really said she is an extension of me on the court. She is competitive. She will get after her teammates. She will drive Maddie Scott to be even tougher inside. And she gets after her teammates. And you saw by that drive to the basket, like, we're not going down. We're going to continue to fight. And KK Deans showed that on that drive to the basket.
Well, KK Dean, she is an energy player. You know, one thing also Coach Yo talked about is just trying to train her mentality into like a winner's mentality. Unfortunately, she hasn't had a lot of success in being able to win games. But how do you change that mentality? You don't have to score 20 for us to win the game. You just have to be consistent around your 10, 11, 12. Find your open players, see the floor, make sure your teammates are in the right position, and that's what KK Dean brings.
Yeah, and she really forced the turnover there as she was defending Sahara Williams and made it a tough pass. So she gets the score. She forces a turnover. Scott with the rebound. KK Deans, can she get it? No. And there's Sahara Williams with the big board.
Sahara Williams running point guard position.
And it will be Rebels basketball. Gets away from Verhulst inside. Verhulst, transfer from Louisville, 6 points on the night.
Oklahoma's done a really good job. Ole Miss is a team known for getting on the boards, and you know, Ole Miss is only leading by 5 right now from total rebound. But you've seen Oklahoma have an emphasis on making sure they get the box out and keep them off the board, especially the offensive board.
Stena Collins run off the three-point line, but hits a nice jumper there to draw Ole Miss within 5.
Todd Williams rised up, did a great job of finishing.
Good catch there. Sorry about that. Todd Williams with that jumper. I mean, that's another player. Todd Williams was the second leading scorer for North Carolina last year at over 14 points a game. And you know, that's what Coach Yo is hoping for from Todd Williams. Her scoring ability. KK Deans led Florida with her scoring, and they need more of that scoring from those two transfers in to give more of a scoring punch to really complement what Collins and Scott can do.
Yeah, I think it's also the height. You know, being able to bring in bigger guards that can, sometimes last year when you look at their team, Angel Baker, Maya Taylor, smaller guard. Angel Baker, phenomenal in what she's able to do from the offensive standpoint. Maya able to run the team, but you bring in some bigger guards, you can see more, you can switch on this, you can switch on ball screen, just have a lot more versatility defensively. Right now, what you see from both teams, but speaking for Ole Miss, they are trying to learn each other. So you talked about the offensive production, but you got to know where your teammates are going to be. You got to know when to make those passes. You got to know when somebody's cutting. And that's something that even from Coach Baranchek, she talked about that from the Oklahoma side. They had a lot of turnovers on Monday's game because they don't know how to play with each other yet.
Yeah, 15 turnovers in this game, Ole Miss with 12. On the other end, it was Culleton with a couple of free throws. That was the third foul on Maddie Scott. Ole Miss right now has 4 players with 3 fouls. Todd Williams, Colin Scott, and Richardson. And then the score for Oklahoma, they continue to find ways to get buckets.
Keys steps up, knocks down that 3. They are running in transition. Ole Miss used more of the clock. Van steps up, not able to knock it down, but Keys right there to get another offensive rebound.
Nevaeh Tott misses that one. Slicing through the defense. Collins not able to score this time. A little ragged right now on both ends. And it'll stay on this end, Oklahoma basketball. Timeout on the floor. Oklahoma leads. Sister, what a family tradition for the Van family. And you mentioned it, Skylar Van has been coming off the bench the last couple of years because they had so much talent in the lineup, and that was her role. And now she's stepping into a new role this season. There she is posting up again. Good position, gets her own rebound, and it'll stay on this end.
Pretty cool, her sister joining Zaya. That was yesterday. It seems like this week has just extended, but yesterday was signing day, and I saw the family photo with the whole squad, the whole Van squad. It was pretty cool.
Culleton with the basket on the inbounds play. Biggest lead for Oklahoma as they stretch it out to 11. 16-4 run right now, Tamika, for Oklahoma. They have really put on the gas here in the second half.
Well, look at Oklahoma. They have the second pass. They'll have a third pass. They'll have a fourth pass. They're trying to find ways to play with each other. When I look at Ole Miss, especially the last possession, the last couple of possessions, they're trying to get all of these points back at once. 5 minutes and 44 seconds is a long time in the game. The only way you get back is by moving the ball, getting the right shot, and not forcing shots that aren't there.
The kick ball resets the clock to 20. Oklahoma inbounds it. They try to catch Aubrey Jones back cutting to the basket, but the pass was off the mark.
Oklahoma just does a great job. Ole Miss got lucky on that one because that would have been a direct pass to Aubrey Jones straight for the layup.
What does Ole Miss need to do to start chipping away here? They get a foul and the clock stops and they'll go to the free throw line with Richardson. That's one way to do it. Well, tonight, SEC Inside grants you an all-access pass to the SEC Women's Soccer Tournament semifinals and championship game. You'll get never-before-seen footage and sound from players and coaches, a real behind-the-scenes look, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Ole Miss had the lead at halftime, went into the halftime locker room up 39-38. Oklahoma outscored them 24-18 in the third quarter and have outscored them by 6 here in the fourth. Still time for Ole Miss, but they've got an uphill battle right now.
Yeah, they do, and they're getting to the free throw line. You look at it, they are now They've gotten to the free throw line 27 times. They're 17 for 27, 63%. That's 10 points right there that they could be in the game.
And a scramble for the loose ball. Everybody was after the ball, hustling, and it will be possession arrow, Ole Miss. It's been a hot and cold night for Coach Yo. They started the game not shooting very well, 5 of 25. Then in the middle of the game, they heated up a little bit, 11 for 18. Snetta Collins leading the way, but now 4 for their last 18. So it has been a roller coaster ride for Coach Yo's team.
I think one of the biggest reasons is just trying to figure out ways, and Coach Yo, and as they continue to work with their team, who is going to step up and be consistent night in and night out. Madison Scott having a tough night, but Snetta Collins steps in and she's doing her thing. You got other players that are stepping in, but you got to have a consistent rotation. You have to have some type of consistency with your players, and that's been the tough part for this Ole Miss team.
Couple of missed three-point attempts for Kennedy Todd Williams. And that one gets away from Nevaeh Tot, but oh my goodness, and then it goes off Aubrey Jones. The ball is ricocheting off everybody. And Ole Miss got to take advantage, or needs to take advantage of that opportunity right there as the ball ricocheted off of Jones out of bounds.
Yeah, this is the hot potato right here. Tot trying to save it. And then it goes off Aubrey Jones' foot. But you're right, Ole Miss needs to take advantage of this opportunity. It's a lot of just missed opportunities so far for this team.
Verhulst gets a paw on it, knocks it out of bounds.
SID, Madeline Marshall right there. Hey, Madeline.
Yeah, and it's COSIDA's Appreciation Day. We appreciate all of the media relations people across the country that do so much to get us information ahead of time. Josh Poteet is the media relations person for Oklahoma, and we always appreciate it as we prepare for games, all of the information that the media relations professionals provide us. So a big shout out to them.
Yeah, big thank you, because it makes our job so much easier.
For sure, for sure.
Brendan, how long have you been doing this?
This is my 29th year of broadcasting women's basketball. How about that? Almost 3 decades.
I only asked because as we're talking about SID, I was just trying to figure out where you got the information from before. KK Dean steps up, knocks down the three.
That's a big shot, finally in single digits. I know, right? 29 years ago, we did not have the internet that we could pull all this information. It was a little bit different back in the day. We might have had the internet then, but it was not being used like it is now, for sure. There's Josh Poteet, the media relations director for Oklahoma. Man, he just gathering a lot of information. That's a lot of numbers that Oklahoma puts up that he has to keep track of, and we really appreciate it.
I don't know. I see this coming through. I don't know if Zoom was still was Zoom a thing?
There was definitely no Zoom 29 years ago when I started calling games, for sure.
Not a
from the corner. Oh, and that would have been a big shot for Ole Miss. They got the three-pointer from KK Deans, but missing that one from the corner. Oklahoma, could this be? We talked about this earlier, and I got to have a question for you, Tamika. Ole Miss is preseason ranked 12. Oklahoma, in the AP poll, is not even ranked. In the coaches poll, they are. But do you consider this an upset? Because it's hard to gauge and predict how good teams are going to be. Now, I know Oklahoma lost a lot from last year. They're the co-defending Big 12 champions. But to come in here, if they're able to pull this off, is this an upset?
I don't know if it's necessarily an upset. I think it's one of those, if I'm Coach Bruncheck, like, I'm happy that my team came into this environment with this team, especially just the way Ole Miss plays. Like, they play aggressive. They're going to be up on you. They're going to get in the passing lane. with so many new players and so many new players in different roles, and
how about that?
continues to dominate. 19 points now. I think it's hard to figure out who should be where at this point. It's too early.
Good answer for Ole Miss. But there's a look at the Big 12 preseason poll. Texas up at the top. Texas and Oklahoma will be in the SEC next year. Kansas, the defending WNIT champion. Kansas State has Aoka Lee back in their lineup. It's going to be a tough battle again at the top of the Big 12 conference this year. And Iowa State won the Big 12 tournament title last year, but boy, they had a lot of graduation and transfers, so they're just outside of the mix right now. And how about Skylar Vann? The night that she has had, celebrating her sister signing with Oklahoma, going to join her in the future, but she has just been tearing it up tonight.
Oh, my goodness. I love watching her play, and you see that smile like, okay, she's talking a little trash out there. But you have a reason to talk trash when you can finish it up and you can finish the play. 21 points, 8 for 17 from the field goal, 3 for 4 from the free throw line. I mean, can you just say enough about what she has brought tonight coming into this environment, being able to play at the level that she played?
And she's a leader. She and Nevaeh Tot, the two people that have had a lot of experience in the past for Oklahoma, along with their transfers coming in. They've all contributed here, and they've handled the Ole Miss defense. You think about this Ole Miss team going into the NCAA tournament last year. They hold Gonzaga and the #1 seed Stanford to under 50 points. That's how they knocked off the #1 seed Stanford with their stifling defense. And this Oklahoma team, #2 in the nation last year in points per game, only behind Iowa for points per game, and they're showing they're going to be able to put up a lot of points again this year as Skylar Vann just continues to add to her numbers.
Well, look at the bench. The bench on the side, whenever any of the players score, the bench is up and screaming, and they are playing for each other. So when you're playing for each other and you know, whether you win or lose, you're playing for one another, that goes a long way.
And we talked to Coach Baranchek about how do you develop chemistry, and she's mentioned just put the players in tough situations where they have to come together, and they've been impressive here on the road because this is not an easy place to play. In non-conference play, Ole Miss has won 20 of their last 21 home games. This is very rare to have a non-conference loss, and Skylar Vann
have 4 players in double digits. KK Dean, double digits. Todd Williams, double digits with 13. Collins with 15. Richardson with 10. And Davis with 11. So that's the bright side of it. You know, Madison Scott only with 5 points, and that's definitely an area she's got to get more consistent in. But you're right, and just you got to get ready for the next game.
Oklahoma going to use all of the clock on this one as Verhulst hoists it up. Must have caught a little bit of the rim, but it will be Ole Miss basketball. Oklahoma, after having a tough start, they were struggling from the field early, but hitting free throws, but they're going to leave here shooting 44%. And this win for Oklahoma is their first non-conference road win over a ranked opponent since 2007, as Ole Miss able to get a score here a little too late for this game. But the fact that Oklahoma has lost 16 consecutive games to non-conference ranked opponents in true road games, this is a big win for the Oklahoma Sooners, and it will send Jenny Baranchek to 4-0 against SEC opponents.
Yeah,
third straight season. Yeah, go ahead, Tamika.
No, it's a big confidence boost, too. When you have a team like this, we've talked about Liz Scott being out. We've talked about players that have graduated and just like the super seniors that were here. This is a big win for this team.
Ole Miss turns him over in the backcourt. There are a lot of bright spots, though. You mentioned it, Tamika. 4 in double figures. Richardson looked really strong tonight, but this one tonight will go to the Oklahoma Sooners. Oklahoma Sooners got Ole Miss in Norman last year, and they come to Oxford and get the 10-point victory as Jenny Baranczyk and Coach Yo shake hands at the
चल के बा बंदे के ए भोला समिति से भमिया तोहार सिर्फ संडे के बुझो जी अब करे हमारे इंतजार किस्म संडे के सुन सारी रात होके कितनो दिन तो ठंडे के सोने से भंगिया तो है सिर्फ संडे के अब करे हमारे इंतजार किस्म संडे के बुझो बाटे फल आइल बाटे तो मंडे के समिति से भंगिया तो है सिर्फ संडे के अब करे हमारे इंतजार किस्म संडे के
ऋषभ रिकॉर्डिंग स्टूडियो सिमरा।